The massive screen in the United Earth Defense Force headquarters lit up without warning. Admiral James Thompson stood frozen, his coffee cup halfway to his lips, as the alien figure appeared before them. The being had gray skin that seemed to shimmer like metal and eyes that glowed with an inner light. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice echoing through the command center. "I am High Counselor Vax of the Galactic Council. Your primitive world has been watched for some time, and we have decided you are ready for integration." Thompson slowly placed his cup down. Around him, the command center staff remained silent, though their hands moved quickly across their stations, following long practice protocols. "You have 30 Earth days to submit to Council authority," the High Counselor continued. "You will dismantle your military forces, share all your technology for review, and accept your proper place in the galactic hierarchy. Failure to comply will result in immediate containment actions." The screen went dark. For 3 heartbeats, silence filled the room. Then Thompson straightened his uniform and pressed a button on his command console. "Execute Protocol Omega," he said calmly. Red lights began flashing throughout the facility, but no sirens wailed. This was something they had prepared for. Within 15 minutes, the world's top leaders appeared on separate screens in the command center, their faces grim but determined. The President of the United Earth Alliance spoke first. "Admiral Thompson, give us your assessment." Thompson pulled up a holographic display showing Earth's solar system. The alien transmission came from a ship just beyond Mars orbit. "Our stealth satellites show it's part of a small fleet, 5 ships total. Based on their energy signatures, they're confident we can't detect them." A slight smile crossed his face. "They're wrong about that, and much more." He gestured, and the hologram changed to show underground facilities scattered across Earth. "For the past 25 years, we've been preparing. Every crashed alien scout ship, every piece of technology we recovered, we didn't just study them. We improved them." The Defense Minister of Asia leaned forward. "Are we ready for this, Admiral?" "More than ready," Thompson replied. "Project Guardian is fully operational. All orbital platforms are armed and masked. Our fleet may be smaller than theirs, but our ships carry technologies they've never seen." The European Union President's voice was cautious. "And you're certain they can't detect our preparations?" Dr. Miller, the head scientist, stepped forward. Her gray hair was tied back in a practical bun, and her eyes sparkled with confidence. "The quantum phase shielding makes our facilities and ships completely invisible to their sensors. We've had years to perfect it, using their own scout ships to test against." Thompson brought up another display, this one showing Earth's hidden defenses. Satellites that appeared normal to alien scans were actually weapon platforms. Civilian space stations housed military vessels ready to launch. Deep underground, massive energy reactors powered shields that could protect entire continents. "They see what we want them to see," Thompson explained. "A planet just entering its space age, a few clumsy satellites, some primitive space stations. They have no idea that we've been building, preparing, and advancing far beyond what they think possible." The African coalition leader spoke up. "And our chances of success? Better than they could imagine," Thompson replied. "They expect us to either submit or try to fight with primitive weapons. Their arrogance will be their downfall. We've had time to prepare, and we've used it well." The President nodded. "Then we're all in agreement. Admiral Thompson, you have full authority to proceed with our response plan." "Very well." Thompson looked at each screen in turn. "I suggest we make our intentions clear. When their diplomatic fleet arrives, expecting our submission." He smiled again, but this time there was steel in it. "We'll show them exactly what humanity is capable of." The world leaders nodded in agreement. One by one, their screens went dark as they left to prepare their nations. Thompson turned to his staff, who waited eagerly for orders. "Send word to all commands," he said. "Operation Defiance is now active. Let's show the Galactic Council why you should never underestimate humanity." Around Earth, hidden facilities hummed to life. Ships emerged from underground hangars, their quantum phase drives making them invisible to alien sensors. Defense platforms powered up, while ground-based weapons prepared for battle. Humanity had no intention of submitting. The Galactic Council was about to learn a very important lesson about judging a species by its apparent level of technology. The 30-day deadline wouldn't matter. Earth would be ready long before then. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Anna Miller walked through the massive underground facility known as Project Guardian. The walls of the circular chamber rose hundreds of feet, filled with rows of humming machines that pulsed with a blue light. At the center stood their greatest achievement, the quantum core. "Status report," she called out to her team as she entered the main control room. Screens covered every wall, showing data from similar facilities around the world. "All systems at full power," Dr. Miller replied her assistant. "The quantum phase generators are running perfectly. We're ready to demonstrate the full capabilities to Admiral Thompson." Right on cue, the Admiral walked in with several military officials. Their faces showed a mix of worry and hope as they looked at the screens around them. "Dr. Miller," Thompson nodded. "Show us what humanity has been hiding all these years." Anna smiled and pressed her hand against the main control panel. A large hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing their solar system. 23 years ago, we recovered our first alien scout ship. Everyone thought we'd just study it, but we did much more than that. She zoomed in on the quantum core. "We discovered something the Galactic Council never did, a way to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself. Their technology was advanced, yes, but they always thought in straight lines. Humans," she grinned, "we think outside the box." The hologram changed to show a small fighter ship. "Watch this," Anna said. She entered a command, and the ship seemed to flicker. One moment it was there, the next it wasn't, but the sensors still showed it in the same place. "What just happened?" one of the officials asked, leaning forward. "The ship is still there," Anna explained, "but it's slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. The Council's sensors can't detect it because they don't know what to look for. To them, it simply doesn't exist." Thompson nodded approvingly. "And our weapons?" Anna changed the display again. This time it showed a testing range on Mars, where they'd conducted their secret experiments. A small drone using Council technology faced off against an Earth fighter. The drone fired its weapons, but they passed right through the Earth ship as if it wasn't there. "When we're phase shifted, their weapons can't touch us," Anna explained. "But ours," she pressed another button, and the Earth ship fired. Its beam passed through the phase barrier and destroyed the drone instantly. "Ours worked just fine." The officials murmured in amazement. One of them spoke up. "How many ships can we equip with this technology?" "Every ship in Earth's defense fleet already has it," Anna replied proudly. "We've been building them in secret for years. The underground facilities in the Andes, Himalayas, and Sahara have been working nonstop." She brought up another display showing Earth's hidden fleet. Hundreds of ships, all equipped with technology the Council never dreamed possible. "But that's not all," she continued. "Show them the big one," she told her assistant. The hologram shifted to show a massive ship, unlike anything the Council had ever built. "This is the Guardian," Anna said softly. "Our flagship. It carries enough power to phase shift an entire fleet. And its weapons." She shook her head in amazement. "Let's just say the Council's ships won't stand a chance." Thompson turned to his officials. "Now you see why I'm confident about our chances. The Council thinks they're coming to collect a primitive species. Instead, they're walking into a trap." "How long until the Guardian is ready?" one of them asked. "It's been ready for 2 years," Anna replied. "Hidden in the dark side of the moon, waiting for this day. All our ships are ready. We've had decades to prepare, to train our pilots, to perfect our systems." Thompson looked at the displays showing Earth's hidden power. "The Council gave us 30 days to submit," he said. "I say we give them our answer now." Dr. Miller, begin powering up all facilities. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do. Around the world, hidden bases hummed with activity. Ships that had never seen the light of day prepared for launch. The quantum cores pulsed with energy, ready to protect humanity from any threat. The Council thought they were dealing with primitives. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Captain Robert Wilson stood on the bridge of the EDS Defender, watching as the Council's diplomatic fleet emerged from light speed near Mars orbit. Their ships were massive, each one at least 3 times the size of his vessel. Under normal circumstances, this would be cause for concern. But these weren't normal circumstances. 5 Council battleships detected, his sensor officer reported. They're moving into standard formation. Their weapons are powered but not active. They think this is going to be easy. Wilson allowed himself a small smile. Let them think that. All ships, maintain phase shift. Remember your training. Wait for my signal. Earth's defense fleet hung invisible in space, completely undetectable to the Council's sensors. 20 ships, arranged in a perfect ambush position. The quantum phase technology Dr. Miller had developed made them ghosts, waiting to strike. The Council fleet moved closer to Earth, their formation loose and casual. A transmission came through on all frequencies. People of Earth, the alien commander's voice boomed. We have arrived to accept your submission to the Galactic Council. Lower your primitive defenses and prepare for occupation. Wilson looked at his communications officer and nodded. Send our response. The officer pressed a button, and Admiral Thompson's pre-recorded message played. This is Earth's response to your ultimatum. Then silence. Sir, the sensor officer called out. They're scanning us. Still can't detect our ships or the orbital platforms. Perfect. Wilson straightened in his command chair. All ships, prepare to execute attack pattern Delta. Weapons officers, target their engines and weapons systems. We want to disable, not destroy. Let's show them some humanity. The Council fleet drew closer to Earth's orbit, their sensors still showing nothing but a few primitive satellites and space stations. They never saw what was coming. Now, Wilson commanded. 20 Earth ships shifted back into normal space simultaneously, their quantum drives humming with power. Before the Council fleet could react, the first volleys of Earth's phase-shifted weapons struck their targets. Blue beams of energy passed straight through the Council ship's shields, as if they weren't there. Their advanced defensive systems, useless against weapons operating on a different phase of space-time, couldn't stop the assault. Direct hits on all targets, the weapons officer reported. Their shields are ineffective against our phase-shifted weapons. The Council fleet scrambled to respond, their formation breaking apart in confusion. Their return fire passed harmlessly through Earth's ships, which shifted between phases faster than their targeting computers could track. Enemy vessels attempting to power up their main drives. The sensor officer called out. They're trying to retreat. Wilson nodded grimly. Not today. Execute containment protocol. The orbital defense platforms, hidden until now, activated. A web of energy formed between them, creating a phase-locked field that prevented the Council ships from jumping to light speed. We have them trapped, his tactical officer confirmed. Their engines are damaged, weapon systems are offline. They're completely at our mercy. Wilson opened a channel to the Council fleet. This is Captain Robert Wilson of the Earth Defense Ship Defender. Your fleet is disabled. Your weapons are useless. This is humanity's answer to your ultimatum. Silence filled the communication channel for several long moments. Then, a shaky voice responded. This is impossible. You're supposed to be primitives. You should have checked your assumptions, Wilson replied calmly. Stand down your remaining systems and prepare to be boarded. Don't worry. Unlike you, we don't destroy those who surrender. The Council ships, their once proud hulls now scared by precise weapon hits, powered down one by one. Earth's first major space battle had ended in complete victory, without a single human casualty. Wilson turned to his communications officer. Send word to Admiral Thompson. Tell him Phase 1 is complete. The Council's diplomatic fleet has been neutralized. He paused, then added with a slight smile. And tell him they seem very interested in discussing new diplomatic terms. As his crew celebrated their victory, Wilson looked at the disabled Council ships on his view screen. This was just the beginning. The Council and the galaxy were about to learn a very important lesson about underestimating humanity. Commander Lisa Mitchell watched the holographic display as her strike force moved through Council space. The quantum phase drives made their ships completely invisible to the massive defense stations they passed. 6 Earth vessels against an empire that spanned hundreds of worlds. But they had surprise on their side, and technology that would change everything. Status report. She called out from her command chair aboard the EDS Thunder. All ships maintaining phase shift, Commander, her second-in-command reported. Council forces have no idea we're here. Their sensor networks show clear space. Mitchell nodded, studying the tactical display. Their first target was coming into view. The Council's largest shipyard, responsible for building their most powerful warships. Dozens of partially completed vessels hung in the massive construction docks. Remember, she addressed her fleet, we're not here to destroy. We're here to send a message. Target their power cores and weapon systems only. No unnecessary destruction. Her ships moved into position, surrounding the shipyard. The Council's defense fleet patrolled nearby, completely unaware of Earth's presence. Years of being the dominant force in the galaxy had made them complacent. All ships in position, tactical reported. Ready on your order. Mitchell took a deep breath. Begin Operation Thunderbolt. Phase shift to attack pattern and fire. 6 Earth ships appeared seemingly out of nowhere, their weapons already firing. Phase-shifted energy beams cut through the shipyard shields like they weren't even there. Precision strikes disabled power cores, weapon systems, and construction equipment. The Council ships guarding the facility turned to respond, but they were too late. Their weapons passed harmlessly through Earth's phase-shifted vessels, while Mitchell's fleet continued their surgical strikes. First target neutralized, tactical announced. No casualties. Moving to second target. This was just the beginning. Over the next several hours, Mitchell's strike force hit 5 more major Council military installations. Each time, they appeared like ghosts, disabled their targets with surgical precision, and vanished before an effective response could be mounted. Council communications are in chaos, her intelligence officer reported with a slight smile. They can't understand how we're bypassing their defenses. Some of their commanders are starting to panic. Mitchell brought up the next target on her display, the Council's primary fleet command center. Let's give them something else to worry about. All ships, prepare for final phase. The Earth fleet shifted through space, passing through solid matter as if it wasn't there. Another capability the Council hadn't thought possible. They emerged inside the command center's main docking bay, their ships becoming solid just inches from the station's walls. Send the message, Mitchell ordered. Her communications officer transmitted their prepared statement throughout the facility. Attention Council Command. This is Commander Lisa Mitchell of the Earth Defense Force. Your shipyards are disabled. Your defense stations are powerless. Your fleets can't stop us. We could destroy you. But unlike you, we believe in peace through strength, not dominance. She paused, letting that sink in before continuing. Earth is not your subject. We are not primitives to be conquered. End this conflict now, or we will be forced to demonstrate more of our capabilities. As if to emphasize her point, her ships phased out again, passing through the station's walls to reappear outside. The Council commanders watched in stunned silence as Earth's vessels vanished from their sensors completely. Strike force. Form up, Mitchell commanded. Mission accomplished. Let's head home. As they turned back toward Earth, Mitchell's tactical officer spoke up. Commander, detecting massive fleet movements throughout Council space. They're pulling ships back to defend their core worlds. Mitchell smiled. The Council was finally learning. Humanity wasn't just fighting back, they were winning. And they were doing it without taking a single life, proving they were not only more advanced but more civilized than the Council had assumed. "Send word to Admiral Thompson," she ordered. "Tell him Phase 2 is complete. The Council now knows they can't defend against us. Let's see if they're ready to talk about a new relationship between our peoples, one based on mutual respect, not submission." Ambassador Thomas Anderson walked through the grand halls of the Galactic Council chamber, his footsteps echoing on the polished stone floor. The massive room was filled with representatives from 100 different species, all watching him with a mixture of fear, respect, and curiosity. Just 1 month ago, they had seen humans as primitives. Now, everything had changed. The High Counselor, Vax, sat in his elevated chair, his metallic skin dulled with stress. Around him, the other council leaders shifted uncomfortably as Anderson approached the speaker's platform. None of them had expected to see a human here, walking freely in their most sacred chamber. "Honorable members of the council," Anderson began, his voice calm but firm. "I come before you not as a supplicant, but as a representative of Earth. We have demonstrated our capabilities. Now we offer a choice." Murmurs filled the chamber. On the massive screens behind him, images played showing Earth's recent victories. Council ships disabled with surgical precision, their greatest military installations neutralized without a single casualty. The representative from Earth speaks of choice. One council member called out, his insect-like features clicking with agitation. "They attack our facilities, humiliate our fleets. After you threatened our world with destruction," Anderson cut in smoothly. "After you demanded our submission based on assumptions about our civilization, we responded with measured force, taking great care to avoid any loss of life. Ask yourselves, would you have shown the same restraint?" Silence fell over the chamber. Everyone knew the answer. The Council's standard procedure for primitive worlds that resisted was orbital bombardment. "We have before us," Anderson continued, "records from your own archives. 17 species subjected to containment in the last century alone. Billions dead because they refused to submit. You called it maintaining order. We call it genocide." The chamber erupted in shouts and protests, but Anderson raised his hand. Behind him, a new image appeared, Earth's quantum phase technology in action. Your power was based on technological superiority, but humans approached technology differently. While you thought in straight lines, we thought in curves. While you built bigger ships, we learned to shift between phases of reality. While you demanded obedience, we pursued understanding. Several council members stood up and walked out, heading toward their private chambers. Anderson knew what it meant. They were contacting their homeworlds, preparing to break away from the Council's authority. "The old order is ending," he announced. "Earth proposes a new way forward. Not an empire built on force, but an alliance built on mutual respect. Not submission, but cooperation." High Counselor Vax leaned forward. "And if we refuse?" Anderson smiled slightly. "Then we continue to demonstrate our capabilities until you understand that the age of council dominance is over. But ask yourself, is your pride worth the cost? We've shown we can bypass any defense, neutralize any weapon. We choose peace, but we are prepared for anything else." As if to emphasize his point, the lights in the chamber flickered. Every council member knew what it meant. Earth ships, phase shifted and invisible, were nearby, perhaps even inside the chamber itself. "Several species have already contacted Earth," Anderson revealed. "They seek alliance, not out of fear, but because they see a better way forward. The Arcturus Federation, the Rigel Collective, the Ta colonies, all ready to join a new order." The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. These were powerful member states. Their departure would shatter the Council's power base. "The choice is yours," Anderson concluded. "Join us in building something better, or cling to your fading empire. Earth extends its hand in friendship, but we will never bow to threats again." As he stepped down from the platform, Anderson could see the impact of his words. The mighty Galactic Council was fracturing, its power slipping away not through violence, but through the realization that their time of absolute authority was over. The galaxy was changing, and humanity, once dismissed as primitives, was leading that change. Admiral James Thompson stood on the bridge of the EDS Guardian, Earth's massive flagship, as warning signals flashed across every screen. The Council hardliners had made their choice. Nearly 300 warships had just appeared at the edge of the solar system, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. "They've committed everything," his tactical officer reported. "Every combat-ready ship they have left. They mean to end this here and now." Thompson nodded calmly. "So do we. All ships, battle stations. Begin Operation Endgame." Around Earth, 150 human vessels moved into defensive positions. They were outnumbered 2-1, but numbers had never been what mattered in this war. "Message from the enemy flagship," communications announced. "They're demanding our immediate surrender or they'll reduce Earth to ash." "Send them our response," Thompson ordered, "just like we planned." A single image transmitted to the Council fleet. A chess piece, a knight, the symbol of humanity's defense force. Then silence. The Council fleet advanced, their massive ships forming attack patterns they had used to crush countless civilizations before. But this time was different. This time, their opponent was ready. "All ships, execute Phase Shield Protocol," Thompson commanded. Defensive Pattern Delta. Earth's fleet vanished from normal space, shifting into quantum phase. But this time, they did something new. The Guardian's enhanced systems linked with every human vessel, creating a massive phase field that surrounded Earth itself. The Council fleet opened fire, unleashing enough firepower to destroy a planet. Their energy beams and plasma torpedoes struck the phase field and passed through harmlessly, their attacks rippling through empty space. "Phase shield holding," Dr. Miller reported from her station. She had insisted on being here for this final battle. "The Guardian's quantum core is performing perfectly. Earth is completely protected." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. "Now it's our turn. All ships, attack pattern Omega. Show them everything we've got." Earth's fleet split into 3 groups, each operating on a different phase frequency. The Council ships, already confused by their failed attack, found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't properly track or target. Human vessels shifted between phases faster than the Council's sensors could follow. One moment they were there, the next, they were somewhere else, their weapons striking with deadly precision. Council ships found their engines disabled, their weapons cut off, their shields useless against attacks that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere. "Enemy fleet is in chaos," Tactical reported. "Their formation is breaking apart." "Guardian's primary weapon is charged," Dr. Miller announced. "Ready on your command." Thompson looked at the tactical display. The Council fleet was scattered now, their carefully planned attack turned into confusion. "Target their flagship. Show them what humans can really do." The Guardian's quantum core pulsed with energy. A beam of pure white light shot out, not traveling through space, but rather through the fabric of reality itself. It struck the Council flagship, and for a moment, the massive vessel existed in all phases at once. Then its systems overloaded completely. The Council flagship, their most powerful vessel, drifted powerless in space. Around it, the rest of their fleet was in similar condition. Disabled but not destroyed, beaten but not annihilated. "Open a channel to all Council ships," Thompson ordered. When the channel was ready, he spoke clearly and calmly. "This is Admiral Thompson of Earth. Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are useless. Your war is over. Stand down and prepare for tractoring to a safe distance from Earth." For a long moment, there was silence. Then, one by one, the Council ships began powering down their remaining systems. The greatest space battle in galactic history had ended just like all the others, with humanity's complete victory. "Send word to Ambassador Anderson," Thompson commanded. "Tell him the Council hardliners have been convinced. Earth is now ready to help build a new and better galaxy." As his crew celebrated around him, Thompson looked at the disabled Council fleet on his view screen. They had come to destroy Earth. Instead, they had only succeeded in ushering in a new age, one where humanity would help lead the galaxy toward a brighter future. The Great Hall of Earth sparkled under the light of 1,000 floating crystals. Built in just 3 months using a combination of human creativity and advanced technology, it stood as a symbol of humanity's new role in the galaxy. Representatives from over 200 species filled the massive chamber, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic life. Admiral Thompson stood at attention near the main platform, watching as Ambassador Anderson prepared to sign the Earth Accords. Next to him, Dr. Miller couldn't stop smiling as she looked at the assembled aliens, not invaders or enemies now, but partners in a new future. "Who would have thought," she whispered to Thompson, "that their ultimatum would lead to this?" Thompson adjusted his formal uniform. They expected submission. Instead, they found equals. Better to make friends than slaves. The former High Counselor Vax approached them, his metallic skin now shining with its old luster. "Admiral Thompson, Dr. Miller," he said, bowing slightly. "I must admit, I was wrong about humans. We all were." "Everyone makes mistakes," Thompson replied diplomatically. "It's how we learn from them that matters." "Indeed." Vax looked around the hall. "In just 3 months, you've accomplished what the Council failed to do in 1,000 years. United the galaxy through cooperation rather than force." Before Thompson could respond, the ceremony began. Ambassador Anderson stepped up to the central platform, his voice carrying clearly through the hall. "Today marks not just the end of one era, but the beginning of another," he announced. "The Earth Accords establish a new galactic alliance, not an empire, not a council that demands submission, but a true partnership of equals." The assembled representatives listened intently as Anderson explained the key points. Earth would share its quantum phase technology, but only for peaceful purposes. Every species would have an equal vote in the new alliance. Military forces would be maintained only for defense, never conquest. "But perhaps most importantly," Anderson continued, "we establish today the Galactic Scientific Exchange. Together, we will explore the mysteries of the universe not as competitors, but as colleagues. Earth's quantum phase technology is just the beginning. Imagine what we can discover together." Dr. Miller stepped forward then, activating a holographic display that filled the center of the hall. It showed the successful test of the new joint project, a quantum phase transportation network that could connect the entire galaxy. "Distance will no longer divide us," she explained. "Resources will be shared, knowledge will flow freely, and no species will ever again be called primitive simply because they took a different path of development." The former council races watched in amazement as she demonstrated the new technology. Many of them had voted to dismiss humans as primitives just months ago. Now they were seeing the future of galactic transportation. "Let today be remembered." Anderson spoke again, not as the day Earth proved its power, but as the day we all chose to move forward together. "The stars belong to all of us. Let us explore them as one." He signed the document, his signature glowing with a soft light. One by one, representatives from every species came forward to add their own marks. Each signature sparked with different colors, creating a beautiful display of unity and diversity. As the ceremony concluded, Thompson looked out at the gathered species, former enemies now allies, past doubters now believers. Earth had done more than just defend itself. It had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. "Mission accomplished," he said quietly to Dr. Miller, "though I doubt this was quite what they expected when they sent that ultimatum." Miller laughed softly. "Sometimes the best way to respond to a threat isn't with destruction, but with innovation. They demanded we submit to their way of thinking. Instead, we showed them a better way." Outside the Great Hall, The sun set on a new era. Ships from 100 worlds hung in orbit, their crews no longer divided by fear and power, but united in purpose. Earth had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but triumphant in the truest sense, by turning enemies into friends and creating hope from fear. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what humanity had hoped for.